way to film this video in a parking lot like I do, and this truck gasses it down the lane, and it's just vroom, and I'm like, best sound effect I could do. And I was like, oh wow, I used to get upset when people were jerk drivers, but now I just jokingly in my head assume they have to go to the bathroom really bad or something, because I'm like, it's not worth putting negativity on things. Make it something silly and just move on from it, So this one, it drives past, and I'm like, all right, well, why is this person in a rush? But then I saw that it was a business truck, and it said Tahitian Pools. And I was like, number one, it's rainy today. Where's the Tahitian pool guy in a rush to? Like, who needs like a pool emergency, a Tahitian pool emergency in rainy weather? It's just like, that's hilarious to me. Hey guys, William here with The Shape Game. This video is just going to be some quick updates talking about the protein urine great fun test I had to do recently. So we'll talk about that. So when I had my Avastin about 3 weeks ago now at this point, I had to go to the hospital to get it instead of my doctor's office. The last few times I've done it, I've been in the doctor's office, and my doctor herself has administered it, or one of her nurses have administered it. Some changes have happened, some personnel changes at my doctor's office. My doctor also broke her wrist, so it was at the point where I could not get it there for a little bit, so I had to go to the hospital to get it, which means I had to be an outpatient getting this, and it was about 3 hours. It was about 3 to 4 hours that I was there waiting to get the IV, because I was literally in the chair waiting to get the IV. Not fun to wait that long. They literally had to call the pharmacy downstairs to get the prescription, all this stuff. The best part of the whole thing was that I heard someone screaming for help, and over the loudspeaker I hear, emergency on the 4th floor. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm on the 4th floor. Oof. I asked the nurse, hey, is that guy okay? And she was like, oh yeah, they're fine. And I was like, they were screaming help, and they said emergency. Yeah, they're okay. I do hope they're okay. But so while all this is going on, I did I don't like talking about pee. All right, I'm gonna try not to use that word that much. You know what's going on. I'm only talking about it because it's related to cancer and medical stuff. So I gave them a urine sample, and they came back later telling me that there was a higher than normal amount of protein in the urine, and that they had to call my doctor to get approval for the Avastin. Now, I learned later that Avastin, from my doctor, that Avastin, one of the side effects can be, not always, but can be higher protein in the urine, which, if that's the case, then I would probably have to stop Avastin and find something else, yada, yada, yada. So she approved it because she said it was like a 0.01% over the limit or something like that. And so she was like, just do it. Just get the thing. And after I finally got my thing, after 4 hours, went to her office, talked to her about it, and she said, all right, just to make sure you don't have problems with the protein stuff, you need to get, this is not our exact words, you need to get a bucket and pee in it for 24 hours, and then we'll send it to a lab, and we'll see what your level is then. So yeah, I don't really care about that. Like, that doesn't bother me. I've done worse stuff, because I was in a hospital for 3 weeks, and there were things, like bathroom-related things that happened at hospitals that were a million times worse than having to pee in a bucket for 24 hours. I didn't really care about that. But it took me over a week to get this bucket. Over a week! I went to the lab that my doctor told me to, my doctor and her nurse set up for me to go pick up the bucket. My doctor didn't give it to me. I had to go to the lab. I won't say the name of this company, but I will say that this lab, all of their locations around me, there's like 4 of them, they all have 1.5 stars to 1.8 stars out of 5. And I was like, well, it's medical stuff. Maybe it's just bad reviews because people don't like doctors and labs. No. Those reviews might be too high for those places. It was terrible. First one I went to, the line was out the door. And once again, I just have to pick up a bucket. I don't even have to go talk to the technicians or anything. I just have to go in to the front desk, say, here's my prescription, thank you for the bucket, and leave. That's it. I go in, see the line, it's packed in the room. the window where the nurse or technician would be is closed, and there are 5 terminals, computer terminals, touchscreens and stuff, where you can log in and check in for your appointment. Yeah, I waited for a couple minutes, got to a terminal, started entering stuff, and it said you need to pay, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm leaving. Went to a different location. Now, there were much fewer people at this location, but that doesn't mean that the employees were nice. The window was open, which was great. They had 2 computer terminals. Okay, great. I walked in. I said, hi, I'm here for and before I can even say it, she sees the paper in my hand, the nurse or whatever, and she says, sit down. We'll call your name when we're ready. And I was like, oh, and I was like, so, because I checked in online yesterday, and she's like, yeah, that's it. I was like, okay. So I sit down, I'm waiting. 15 minutes goes by, and I'm like, once again, I'm literally here to pick up a bucket. So I get up and go over. I said, here, I'm just here to pick this up. And she's like, yes, I know. Wait, and then we'll call your name when we're ready. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I go on my phone, check my appointment time for the lab thing that I'm picking up with the bucket, and the appointment says I missed it. So I'm like, okay, I've been here for 30 minutes waiting, and this woman keeps telling me to sit back down, even though I'm trying to explain what's going on. And this is great. This poor elderly gentleman sitting next to me got up at like 30 minutes in, and he was been waiting there about as long as I had. Got up, and the lady, without even him saying anything, pointed right at him and said, sir, sit back down. We will call your name before you come back here. And I was like, okay, like me, whatever. I really don't care. Like, you could treat me like that, whatever. That's just you being a jerk to me. But the poor elderly dude who's literally waiting, it was so upsetting. So I was like, you know what? I'm leaving. I've been here 30 minutes. These people are not going to help me. I'm gone. So I have to call my doctor, and I tell the front desk lady, the nurse, who is very good about getting things done. I called her and told her all this, and she was like, that doesn't sound right. I get a call 2 hours later from her saying, I talked to that woman, and she was very rude, and so I talked to her supervisor and told her all the bad stuff she was doing, and the supervisor said, we will talk to her about that. Now, once again, who knows if that is going to change anything, because, like I said, these all have really bad reviews for these places. Long story short, I end up having, my nurse is like, okay, well, you can come to our office, and we'll have a bucket for you. The hospital where my doctor is has one of these labs in that hospital. I didn't know that, but whatever. It's just a little farther, so I went to the ones around me. I go to my doctor's office, get the bucket. Finally, right? Finally. It took over a week for this. I do the test, right? Then I bring it to the lab, and they're like, okay, we need you to sit here for a while. I'm like, I'm just dropping off the bucket. It's such a pain. Eventually, we get all the results back from this thing, and shocker, I'm fine. I don't remember the metric system they used, or metric, I don't remember you know the word I'm trying to say. I don't remember the measurement that they used, but I remember the numbers. 150, I believe, is the average, like the most someone should have, and anything above that is too much and they should start checking on you. I was at 80. So literally, I was so far below the limit that I should have never even had to do the bucket thing. Oh my gosh. What a fun couple of weeks. It was like, I've gotten so used to hospital things and doctor's appointments. It just, even the 3 to 4 hour wait for the IV didn't even get to me that much. Like, that didn't bother me. It was, I guess, the nurses and the staff being so rude to me and the other patients that just was like, dang, like, I know times are tough for everybody, but it's like, I don't know. It felt wrong. I was like, I just felt bad for all the people the people who are more frequently going to those places that have to deal with those type of employees. The customer service there was just terrible. Oh my gosh. I honestly, yeah, it was bad. I love Quest Diagnostics. I've never had a problem with Quest. I wish that's where I could have gone to get the bucket, because like I said, Quest Diagnostics, never had a problem with them. I'm sure they've messed up with other people, but for me, so much smoother. You're in, you're out, easy. But this was not fun. Well, that's the video. I mean, let's see. I've been messing around with cassette tapes. That's been a lot of fun. I found a bunch of my uncle's, Uncle Alan, his cassette tapes from the 90s where he recorded a bunch of music, and I've just been converting those for fun to my computer since I have a cassette deck now, and touching up the audio, uploading them to a server thing, and it's been so much fun for me to do that. I realized that I am interested in going to school for that, like audio engineering. So I'm not saying it's 100% certain or anything, but I'm definitely looking into it. And the college that I went to for my community college stuff has a program for this, and I love that college. So it's close, it's super interesting to me. Maybe in the spring semester I'll do it, like something I'm looking into. So I'm excited about that. My dad has gone through 3 surgeries since you last talked to me, all similar to the butt problem I had. Can't remember if I told you guys about that, but hidradenitis, it's inflamed, it's with your pores and stuff like that. It's when there's an infection under the skin and it's hard to deal with. So my poor dad had to have 3 surgeries. Thankfully, the 3rd one was the thing. They did enough work with the 3rd one that it's been a few weeks since then, and he's doing so much better. So I'm really happy about that. I felt so bad for my dad because I remember, I mean, his was worse than my surgeries when I had that problem. His was much worse. So every time I was around him, I just felt so bad because I could tell how draining being in pain from that type of thing was, because dang, it's the worst. I hated having that. Honestly, the side effects from chemo were better than having the hidradenitis, honestly. Yeah, I'd honestly rather have chemo side effects than deal with my underarm hidradenitis stuff that I have on the constant basis, you know? Yeah. You guys are amazing. I hope you have an awesome time in between these videos. Oh man. You guys are great. I love saying that. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you so much for just being awesome. I keep updating you guys on a semi-regular basis. Like every 3 days I post things on Instagram. So if you want to follow me more consistently than these 2-month gaps, definitely follow me on Instagram. It's The Shape Game IG, I think. Anyways, I'll put the link in the description. So follow me there for more frequent updates. Yeah. Oh, there's one more thing I was going to say. Anyways, hopefully you guys have been doing well. Thank you so much for sticking with me through all this insanity. I will give you an update as soon as I get one. You guys are great. Stay safe. Adios.